So what you're going to see from them is a lot more zone and a lot more freshman Rodney Williams.
All right, Andy, thank you. And Rodney Williams is in the starting lineup. He's about ready to jump it off with Caleb Tarczewski, Arizona in home white, and we are underway here at the Garden. McConnell with the ball, a transfer from Duquesne. Not shooting the ball much, but distributing it beautifully, and that's why one of the reasons why Arizona, Dan, they're shooting over 54% as a team.
Well, you see right there, you know, what Drexel's going to do is make them shoot those shots. They went under every screen there. If you're going to get beat in Drexel's mind, it's going to be from the perimeter, not pounded inside against them.
This is Chris Fouch, number 3, a 6th-year senior. Missed his freshman year with injury, then missed almost all of last year with an ankle injury. Got a second medical red shirt. The floater goes for Damian Lee, a junior out of Baltimore, and the Dragons strike first.
Boy, right away, you can see the confidence. You mentioned Fouch. I mean, he's from here, went to Rice High School. It was a goal of the teams to get here. Sometimes teams get shook in the Garden, but that was as calm as could be.
Fouch's first game as a collegiate in this building. Tarczewski with a jump hook, no. And a reach-in foul is going to go against Brandon Ashley of Arizona. What can you say about the role that Sean Miller has been on? Chalking up the W's. He's reached an Elite 8 and a Sweet 16 at Arizona, and the recruiting classes year after year among the nation's best.
You know, Dan, sometimes you go to a practice or a shoot-around and you say, man, how's that coach ever win? We went today and watching their shoot-around, you say, with the talent and the way he coaches them, how they ever lose? He's fantastic in every area, offense, defense, details. He has it all.
Everybody getting a touch for the Dragons. Shot clock down to 15, and the 3 will go for Franz Massenet, a senior out of Ewing, New Jersey. He's the primary ball handler for the Dragons. Knocks down to 3, and a good start for Drexel.
Yeah, McConnell forgot the scouting report because Fouch is a shoot-first guy.
Caleb Tarczewski called for the offensive foul.
Well, I said, Fouch, this is Massenet. You know, when you come out on Fouch, Massenet, and Lee, you got to come out thinking shot first. You just do, because all 3 of them will load it up.
Lee loads it up. Ball's on the deck, and McConnell comes up with it, and then Rodney Williams reaches in and commits the foul. The Drexel head coach is Bruiser Flint. It's hard to believe that he's been at Drexel now for 13 years after 5 years at UMass. A couple of years ago had a great team, did not get, they were considered one of the snubs for the NCAA tournament, wound up in the NIT.
They had a hard time. I did their championship game, and it was against VCU in Richmond, Virginia. 12,000 people there. Dan, it was a friends and relatives only for Drexel. Right. And it was just loud and crazy, but he's a terrific coach and has a really, really good demeanor with his players.
They have already won this year at Illinois State and went to UCLA and only lost by 5, plus a road win at Rutgers, so they have been tested.
Favorite here in the Pac-12, Arizona.
And their seniors also picked up a win 3 years ago at the Yum Center at Louisville in the first year of that building. So they're used to going on the road, playing highly ranked teams. This is not a brand new experience for them.
You know, the other thing is when you play for Bruiser Flint, you're going to be tough. And he's smart. The best thing you can do in college basketball is recruit to your culture, and he does.
Arizona now 5 possessions, 2 missed field goals, 3 turnovers.
Dan, that pass from McConnell, who's a pass-first guy, missed by 10 feet. That tells you they're rushed. You know, he would normally take it below the foul line, make a nice pass, but they're a little bit rushed. They're out of sync. They're sped up. Arizona is offensively.
Here's Fouch again. Takes a bunt, no call, and here come the Wildcats. Gordon had it knocked away from behind. The save, but into the hands of the Dragons, who have numbers. Fouch, a block is the call, and he'll be shooting 2.
I understand one's a guard in a 6th year and the other one's a freshman. But I said it earlier. I mean, some guys make these kind of things look easy. You see their Fouch. I don't know if that's a block or a charge. Anytime you go to the side, you're almost given the call. McConnell, pretty good job of being set.
Last year, it's a charge.
You think?
I think so, but then
I've always thought that referees give you the benefit of the doubt when you hit a guy's shoulder.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
You're right.
Jump in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Yeah. But you hardly see charges this year. You've hardly seen any.
You have to get there early.
Yeah.
Like voting in Chicago, you got to get there early and often.
Plant a stake in the ground.
Right.
Meanwhile, with the call going Drexel's way, 2 more free throws, 9-0 for the Dragons, 3 minutes in. Tarzewski with a 4-inch height advantage on Ruffin, and Tarzewski is called for the travel. The 5th turnover committed already by Arizona.
You know why he traveled? Because Ruffin got Tarzewski with both of his feet out of the lane. If you let Tarzewski catch the ball with a heel in the lane, any foot in the lane, he's dangerous. Outside the lane, he's still a little uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you travel.
Well, if Drexel was feeling scrappy and confident coming into the game, imagine how they're feeling right now. Again, everybody getting a touch at the offensive end for the guys in blue. Lee rises. Back of the iron. Rebound, Nick Johnson having a terrific year in so many different ways for Arizona. McConnell from the wing. And the rebound and putback for Aaron Gordon to finally get Arizona on the board.
But Bruiser Flint is just going nuts with Lee because he took a bad shot. And when you take a bad shot at Arizona, it leads to transition. And that is the one thing that Drexel does not want. Long shot, rebound. On the offensive end, you see Gordon going to the glass, and Bruiser Flint, and rightfully so. He wants Lee to shoot, but not bad shots.
One of the few areas in which Gordon has not excelled so far this year, free throw shooting. That miss, he's now 9 for 22. But I know watching practice today, you thought there was a lot to like about Aaron Gordon.
Well, the main thing I liked about Aaron Gordon was how in tune he was. Like, you know, he was in a stance the whole time. He was communicating the whole time. He was jumping to the ball. He was in help side. And quite frankly, many freshmen, most freshmen, don't understand the importance of those kind of things because they've never had to. He was incredibly impressive. As was, as I said, Sean Miller and their entire team.
It's been Drexel, which has been the impressive team of the first 4 minutes and change here in the game. Fouch steps in, still going. Floater gets the roll, and it's 11-2.
Well, fundamentally, Fouch, he sees a play ahead. I mean, he knew he was getting the ball and driving. And when you see a play ahead, you're able to take advantage of defense, and he did. He took advantage of a bad recovery.
And Fouch with 6 already. Ruffin making life tough on Ashley, and Arizona turns it over yet again.
I'm telling you, that ball is loose. That's like a shark to blood. Drexel.
6 Arizona turnovers. One of the things Bruiser Flint said today is that is a key for them is run their offense, execute. Everybody gets a touch, get a high percentage look, and we've seen that on every possession. Massonet, that's a tough one. When you're going good, you're going good, and it's 13-2. McConnell coast to coast.
Yeah, and that's how Arizona won.
Bruiser Flint has been at Drexel. He's now the all-time winningest coach for the Dragons with 215 wins. He told me he'd trade all of that for one NCAA tournament berth. As you said, Dan, they almost got it. And without Mason, Old Dominion, VCU, they got a chance now this season in the CAA.
Meanwhile, back in this game, Dan, that last foul by McConnell going to break, that was his 2nd foul. So the starting point guard for Arizona has gone to the bench. Gabe York is into the game, as is Rondé Hollis Jefferson, a freshman and a terrific athlete. But it's Drexel scoring again to up the lead to 15-4.
Fouch is wearing them out. He's wearing them out with the ball. He's wearing them out off the ball. Just wearing them out by cutting harder and being tougher than Arizona.
And trying to take advantage of Tarzewski's size. Ruffin not giving any ground. Getting low, using his strength. Air ball. Shot clock continues to run down. Johnson, they stepped away from him. He misses the three. And Tarczewski working hard, finally gets something to go.
Great play by Tarczewski, just staying after. It's a little awkward. You're going to see the shot missed. You know, Drexel's going to have to do a better job, Ruffin is, of getting him out of there, but credit Tarczewski. Well, right there, he bodies, loses the ball, stays with it, picks it up, and gets over the rim. Drexel has given, in my opinion, absolutely nothing to Arizona. And that's probably where Arizona's going to go, Dan. Just throw it up there, best offense, and miss shot.
Second foul, Dan, on Rodney Williams. Remember, they're thin up front because Kasembe Abith, normally a starter in the front court, is out with a concussion. Williams is his replacement in the starting lineup, and now Williams has picked up 2 quick fouls. FOUCH, that's a tough shot. And down with the rebound is Gordon. And Gordon can do this. He can handle. He can play the perimeter. And at 6'9", he can go inside and jump over people, too. As can Hollis Jefferson. Does not get the bounce. And the rebound down to the Dragons. Williams kept that foot down. Massenet still with plenty of time to shoot. The degree of difficulty is very high tonight for Franz Massenet.
Old-time Knick fans will remember Dick the Skull Barnett. Left-handed step back three, or not three, but twos. Massenet. You know,
what happened to getting your feet set and going straight up in the air?
It's out the door.
I guess if you keep making them. Turnaround by Tarczewski. Rebound Ruffin.
He struggles when his feet aren't in the lane. He just has 3 times he's gotten the ball outside the lane. Hasn't done anything with it.
Lee. And the weak side rebound down to York. A sophomore having a big season. Much improved. Way more production than a year ago. He gives a lot of the credit to McConnell, the new point guard.
Dan, I saw York get 44 in an AAU game against Yogi Ferrell of Indiana and Jeremy Hollowell of Indiana, and I mean, he dominated him. He's a terrific scorer, can get hot in a hurry.
Almost 8.5 minutes in, and Drexel with an 11-point lead. Alabama-Duke coming up on ESPN2 in the second semifinal later tonight.
Drexel's not even faking it. They're not even faking it in the rough. They're not throwing it in there. They're looking for that.
Massenet again. It's all FOUCH and Massenet. Right now, they've got 17 of the 19 between them. Johnson using the screen. York trying to do the same. Johnson misses the three. There's some tired bigs out there right now, looks like.
Some tired guards. Massenet just pulled his jersey as well. But how could you ever want to come out when you're on fire like this? Stay in, never come out.
Immediate timeout of the next whistle. Very few whistles in the leading 19-6 if you're Sean Miller. And he's put McConnell back in the game with 2 fouls, which I think tells you how seriously he's taken this situation right now. What do you tell your team in the 100?
And you might tell them to go to zone because they have shown no ability to guard. And if McConnell's in there, you want to keep. The other thing you tell them is, look, it's a long game. Just quit taking quick shots. Go to the rim and rebound like crazy.
York did, but he missed on the follow as well. And Ruffin doing a nice job of the defensive glass for the Dragons. Tavon Allen into the game now for Drexel, number 11, a 6'7" sophomore out of New Haven. He's a guy who scores 13 points a game in 23 minutes off the bench.
He's just like what you see out of the other two. You know, he's a guy that comes in, cuts, shoots, pull-ups, driving.
Mohamed Abba into the game as well. Again with a Sif out with a concussion. They're going a little bit deeper into their bench than they normally would. And there's Lee banking one home.
That was an unbelievably good pass by Massonet. He read where Lee was going. Lee was being defended and faded to the corner. And those two guys playing well together.
Ashley rolls off the rim.
That's the best shot they've gotten.
That's the midway point of the first half. Drexel leading Arizona by 15. Not this time for Allen.
Dan, you know what's amazing? I don't think a post guy has a touch yet. I know they have a shot.
For Drexel.
Yeah, for Drexel. I don't think they have a touch.
Yeah. Well, it's time for the Old Spice Classic quarterfinals tomorrow on ESPN2 down in Orlando. You'll see one of the top players and one of the top teams in the nation, Marcus Smart, and Oklahoma State taking on Purdue tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN2, and all kinds of quality teams down there.
Two things. Marcus Smart's going to go against a point guard, Ronnie Johnson, for Purdue sophomore. Really good. The guy he plays with, Bryson Scott, is a tough defender. That's going to be interesting. And I got to believe, I think Sienna's going to get Memphis. I think Sienna's pretty good. And I think they're going to beat Memphis.
Look at the shooting for Arizona, just 3 for 16, and that doesn't even bring into play all of the turnover trouble that they've had. Fouch again. He's into double figures already. And at the other end, a foul on Drexel. But it's a 9-0 run right now for Massonet, Fouch, and the rest of the Dragons, feeling pretty good about themselves.
This is what Fouch does, and you can't watch 20. He's going to fake at the ball, get back. Why fake at the ball off Fouch? Look, hands are down when Fouch goes up into the shot, and then you put your hand up when he's into the shot, and all that is like the sight of a gun. It just gives you aim. You have to have your hands up, keep them up, and make Fouch go past you and move your feet.
And you mentioned he played at Rice High in the Bronx. Played here a couple of times in high school all-star games and that sort of thing. But this is his first time playing here at the collegiate level. And I mean, you know a lot about New York basketball. You can imagine what it means to kids who grew up in this area to come back and play in the Garden.
Yeah, he played in high school against Derrick Rose here. And then now to come back as a 6-year senior. Funny how life works out. You know, he ends up getting a 6-year because of an injury, and lo and behold, here they are, playing in his hometown in the Mecca.
Let's go back to Andy.
Yeah, he had 2 bad injuries. He had the ACL early in his career, then he had the broken ankle last season, and Bruiser Flint told me they never doubted for a second that he wasn't going to get this 6th year of eligibility. He said it took the NCAA actually only 5 days to render a decision. Imagine if they did that all the time?
How come you guys don't praise the NCAA when they make a quick decision? You guys are always complaining when it takes them, 2 minutes to make one. Now, how about praising them?
And the rest of the Dragons have their sights set on playing in the championship game on Friday against the winner of our second semifinal tonight, Duke and Alabama. Drexel leading Arizona by 16. Fouch in and out.
Quick 2-3 zone out of the timeout by Arizona. Smart move because they can't guard Drexel to this point.
And Johnson back into the game for the Wildcats. It's a wide open Ashley, who misses the 15-footer, and down with the rebound is Major Kennedy, a freshman out of Wilson, North Carolina. With some minutes backing up Fouch, or occasionally, as is the case right now, alongside Fouch in the backcourt. Backing up Massonet, I should say. He is the backup point guard, so he'll take out Massonet, play alongside Fouch for a few minutes here and there.
Pretty good move by Bruiser Flint. He took Massonet out. Now he's got him at the scores table just to give him, in real time, probably about 5 minutes.
Deep 3. Got it! This is remarkable. 14 for Fouch. And And Tarczewski called for the travel.
Well, this is deep on deep on deep on deep. And again, when a guy's going, hands are kind of up. They're up only after he goes in. You have to run him off the line. You just do. And he's going. He's driven past a few times, fine. But you've got to speed him up. You've got to make him go. But credit FOUCH, Dan, you've seen it. You know, guy comes home, he gets nervous, he doesn't play well. Man, this kid, he's expecting great things, and he's delivering.
14 in the game already for FOUCH. Arizona's 3 for 17 with 7 turnovers. Massonet back into the game. McConnell guarding him. McConnell's got 2 fouls. McConnell might have gotten a fingertip on that shot, and here comes Johnson for the Wildcats. Johnson driving and lays it in.
Nick Johnson played faster than Drexel there. It's one of the few times that Drexel kind of jogged down, and Nick Johnson just beat his man. And because Drexel drove, nobody was there to take a charge. This is a good lineup. This is the best lineup for Arizona right now. I think if they're going to make a run here, I feel. It's quicker. It's more athletic.
Massonet, not this time. Rebound down to Gordon. And what a steal by Damian Lee, playing free safety for the Dragons. And you can hear the Drexel fans. They're vocal right now here with the Garden, and why not? Lee. Massonet. Ashley the rebound. And a spin move will send Ashley to the line as he is fouled by Bob. More great college basketball action coming your way. This is Feast Week, after all. This is Southern California, Miami, and GW tomorrow on the U. Then Marquette, Cal State, Fullerton, Charleston, and San Diego State. And if you want to stay up late here in the East, after all, your Turkey tomorrow, Creighton and Arizona State. That'll be an interesting game.
Arizona State's Carson's one of the great guards in the country. And I had Doug McDermott of Creighton as my preseason National Player of the Year.
Foul's actually called on Damian Lee, his second. He's gone to the bench as we check it again with Andy Katz.
Well, first of all, it's not like Arizona has not been tested already this season. They were one of the few elite teams that took their team on the road in a true road game in a hostile environment when they went to Viejas Arena at San Diego State. You just mentioned the Aztecs that are out in California in that tournament. And to a player and the staff, they all said that's the kind of game they needed early and really tested them as they came out with a 9-point victory. So not a shock that they've been pushed, maybe not to this level.
FOUCH a miss, and another strong rebound by Ashley. He's got help, but he's called for the carry. The 6'8" forward trying to lead the break, elude a defender, and he carried it.
He did carry, too. That's a pretty good call. And he is a forward, but they also consider him a guard. And you see right there, left hand, just swung it over. All you had to do was throw it up to McConnell, and there was going to be a layup, but he didn't see him on his left side.
Massonet steps through everything but the finish. Boy, is he creative.
He is. This time, Ashley looks, and he gives it up. And he was begging to give it up as soon as he got it. Pretty smart.
Ashley spins and draws the foul.
This game is not a good game for Tarczewski. It's just not. I mean, he's being pushed off the block. He's turned it over and missed every time. A little quicker lineup here.
And at the line, Ashley, 6'8" sophomore out of San Francisco, averaging 12 points per game.
You know, big guys, it's a little like a lineman in football. You have a choice, kind of. You're either going to get pushed around or you're going to establish your territory. And Karczewski has gotten the ball, and maybe in the second half they're going to talk to him at halftime and say, look, this is what you got to do. You got to get feet in the lane. But he's hurt them, and this lineup much better.
So often we talk about size being an advantage, and more often than not, it seems that smaller, quicker guys wind up having the advantage on the bigger, slower guys.
It's basically mental toughness. I mean, great centers are guys that say, all right, this is mine, and I'm taking this. I'm not teen class from 8th grade up to 2013, and we played AAU tournaments against Jabari Parker and all of these kids. And I felt that Jabari Parker was the best player in that class. I mean, he does everything well. He handles himself ridiculously well. And, it's no surprise all of them are very successful. But I just felt like Parker was the best out of all of them.
Now a steal by the Wildcats, and Gordon lays it in. Second field goal of the night for Aaron Gordon to go with 8 rebounds already. That's the first turnover in the game for Drexel.
First time they've been pressured really in the full quarter, which is something Sean Miller's staff said they would do more often. They haven't done it much in this game.
And Arizona on the strength of a 9-0 run. Some cold shooting by the Dragons recently. The Wildcats are back within 10. And Massanet fouled by Jordan Mays.
You're playing a long team. You don't want to expose the ball. On the inbounds, you have to throw it such that the only guy that can catch it is the offensive player. You never throw a lob pass short. That's a lob pass on the side. You never throw it short. You always throw it long, so it either goes out of bounds where they have to reset or it goes to your guy. Because when you throw a lob pass short, invariably it's a bucket, whether it's in full court or half court or on inbound.
That was the 6th team foul by Arizona. Drexel's over the limit already. Allen, great little fake. A little bit too strong. Ball's loose. And Johnson comes up with it for Arizona. And he is fouled by FOUCH. Johnson heading to the free throw line.
That's a frustration foul. Johnson is really getting into FOUCH on the defensive end. He's sticking his nose right into FOUCH's chest. And I think FOUCH with a little frustration there. Instead of turning and running back and getting and playing defense, he reached in.
As ugly as this half has been for the most part for Arizona, with Drexel going cold, right now Bruiser Flint's probably saying to himself, man, we should be up more than 10. And Sean Miller's saying, you know what? All things considered, I'll take it.
Absolutely. And this is 3 minutes to go in the first half is the most underrated time in basketball. Dan, everybody talks about the start of the second half. That's great. But this last 3 minutes is going to set the rest of the game up right now.
And now here comes Karczewski back into the game. Arizona actually making this run without their biggest player as he takes Ashley's place. You talked about how the speed of the game might be a little bit much for him right now.
It was early, and Ruffin's physicality knocking him off the block. If you're not going to block shots on defense and you're 7 feet tall, you better get something done on offense. And what he was getting done was traveling. So now, for his sake, I hope he's settled in and works harder to gain position.
11-0 run Arizona. Nice two-man game. And somebody blocked it, either Karczewski or Hollis Jefferson, or maybe both of them. Hollis Jefferson for 3.
Defend the basket, little screen and roll on the side, actually a slip screen right there, a little slip, and here comes the cavalry. That looks like Jefferson got the block.
Hollis
Jefferson with a Karczewski sandwich.
He's got kind of Richard Jefferson athleticism.
Took a bad shot down there. He was a little excited.
As was Allen on that shot by Drexel. Drexel's gone a long time between baskets. Been 10 possessions since they scored. Gordon called for the try.
That turnover was because McConnell was out of the game. Nick Johnson is kind of a point guard, but not really. And he was trying to get the ball from Gordon. Point guards don't try to get the ball from your big guy. Get the ball from your big guy. Demand it. And a normal point, a guy that's used to being a point guard would have had the ball in his hands and there wouldn't have been a turnover.
Here's FOUCH with a game-high 14. But he, like the rest of the Dragons, has gone cold recently, but he follows up his own miss. He's got 16 now, and that snaps a drought of better than 5 minutes without scoring for the Dragons.
You know, as a coach, there are certain things that's inexcusable, and that was. You know, the littlest guy in the scrum picks up the ball, and not only does he pick it up, he gets it in the bucket.
Connell's on the bench with 2 fouls. Johnson hits York. York for 3, way long. Tarczewski, no. And as we enter the final minute of a surprising first half, Drexel's got a 10-point lead in the ball. FOUCH a miss. Tarczewski wins the battle for the rebound.
It's a huge possession here. 10-point game. You've got the ball. You've got a chance to go in.
Johnson, well, he looks like he can draw a foul on a drive just about any time he wants to.
Dan, what you do offensively, defensively, and personnel through the course of a game, you try to figure out how to get comfortable. I think Sean Miller is really comfortable with a smaller lineup, and he put Tarczewski back in there just to make sure that he was ready for the second half. Offensively, that high ball screen right there with Nick Johnson might be their comfort level, because that was really easy. It's almost like, well, it's almost like in half-court offense, Arizona's spinning its wheels and making it more difficult than what it needs to be. Just get the ball to Nick Johnson, set a high ball screen, spread out, and go to the rim.
Ashley in for Gordon. The Drexel foul was on Darte Ruffin. That's his 3rd on the 6'8 senior. And as we have seen, he's a very important player to the defensive end for the Dragons in this game.
Has settled into the game on the defensive side of things.
Ruffin comes out with 3 fouls. Ba is back into the game along with Williams in the front court. But as we've said, it's been all about the perimeter offensively for Drexel. Those are their 3 most experienced players. Here's one of them in Massanet, a 4-year starter with the point. 5 to shoot, 8.5. Massanet behind the back. And a shot clock violation will give Arizona one last look at the bucket. Ashley to inbound. Johnson, big screen by Tarczewski.
Get it off.
Would not have counted. Massanet still sitting on the court after getting.
Well, I just spoke with Sean Miller, and he said he thought the stats were a little deceptive in terms of defense. He thought they actually played pretty good defense the second part of the first half. He said their offense was atrocious. They should do a much better job rebounding. They had 0 assists. I asked him, when are you going to throw the ball inside? He says, look, we tried. It didn't work.
Ashley drives it inside, can't finish. And we get a foul underneath going against Drexel. For Drexel, Darte Ruffin, one of their starting big guys, had 3 fouls in the first half. Picked up the 5th foul late in the first half. He does not start the second half because of that. Mohamed Ba starts the second half in his place. And the other front court starter, Rodney Williams, just picked up his 3rd foul. And then a 3 for TJ McConnell. So in the first 20 seconds alone of the second half, all kinds of things going Arizona's way.
Yeah, and roughing out is a big, big deal because he's big, he's strong, he's willing. Ba not nearly as big and as physical.
FOUCH takes the handoff, trying to back Johnson down. Now hits Lee. Massanet open for a corner 3. And the long rebound to Ba was beyond the reach of Tarczewski.
sometimes you don't have to jump for a rebound. Had Tarczewski not jumped, the ball would have come to him and it would have been in transition.
Lee the drive, hangs off the glass and good.
Well, size did not matter right there because Gordon was trying to stay with Lee and he just couldn't.
Tarczewski rejected at the rim, gets it back, lays it in and draws a foul.
Well, Bob did all he could. Tarczewski ran Main Street. Main Street means the middle of the floor and you put your head under the rim, and that's exactly what Tarczewski did. He gets blocked, but credit Tarczewski. He stayed with it and made his best jump. He didn't fall. He jumped up, not at. And when you jump up, you can play through contact.
And now Ba goes to the bench as Tarczewski heads to the line. And Bruiser Flint goes a little bit deeper into his bench, bringing in a 6'10 senior, Goran Pantovic from Serbia, making his first appearance in the game tonight.
Well, either a zone or if you're Arizona, you do not shoot unless you have a layup without testing Tarczewski on the block. Tell you what, if you're Drexel, watch number 14 Lee. He has to keep moving. Against Gordon can guard him stationary, but can't guard him moving.
And now a travel. How big are the first few minutes of the second half of Drexel?
You know what? I thought the end of the first half was huge from this stand. And it's come over to the second half. Nick Johnson's defense on FOUCH. Right there, the travel was because Johnson just wouldn't get beat. And FOUCH tried as best he could, and it worked to start the half, first half, second.
And it didn't just start in the second half. It started in the last several minutes of the first half, but it's more pronounced on the scoreboard here in the second half. Arizona outscoring Drexel 13-2 since the break to take the lead. They trailed by as many as 19 midway through the first half.
Boy, is Nick Johnson doing a job on FOUCH.
Again, another tough shot. A lot of them were falling early. They're not falling now for the Dragons. York with a quick three. And 2 feet too far. He overshot the runway on that one.
Dan, when's the last time Drexel's gotten a comfortable jump shot?
No. They're taking bumps and taking off-balance jumpers. We talked about how Massenet hit a couple of very tough ones. Lee hit a couple of very tough ones. And FOUCH has had some decent looks, but he's gone cold as well.
They just don't even look inside. They had Rodney Williams on a little cross screen. Didn't even look from Lee.
Well, the three guys, FOUCH, Massenet, and Lee, they scored all 31 points for Drexel. When was the last time you saw a game where only 3 players scored?
I'm going to add to it, man. They play a 3-out, 2-in motion, and they have not thrown the ball on the block yet. Biggs have touched it at the top of the key on a handoff.
Off the foot of Ruffin, still Arizona ball. And here's T.J. McConnell back into the game. McConnell's had a bit of a quiet night so far. He did have some foul trouble, so he didn't play a ton of minutes in the first half. But this guy's given credit for completely changing the look of the Arizona offense, because he's been such a pass-first guy.
You know what that means for a coach? That means when you're in transition, he has the ball, you sit back and you go, all right, this is going to be a bucket. I mean, it's just a comfort with a guy like McConnell.
A good decision's going to be made. FOUCH, Massenet. They needed that one.
Yeah, good play by FOUCH. FOUCH went to the baseline, good little baseline drip from Massenet. FOUCH found him. The reason that's a good play, he didn't force a shot. You know, sometimes a scorer doesn't get a bucket. He wants to force things. Didn't force it, found the next, got a bucket, got 3.
Ashley for 3.
That is a horrible looking spin.
A bowling ball spin.
It spins like a globe.
Yep. Great follow by Rondé Hollis-Jefferson.
They say Rondé Hollis-Jefferson is a jump shot away from the NBA. Can do things like that, very active. Finishes around the rim.
FOUCH. Yes. The lead trades back and forth here in the Garden.
Got that bucket with Gabe York on him.
Now York, the drive, scoops it up and off the rim. Everything would go through for him. And back comes Massenet.
I'm telling you, FOUCH really comfortable now that Nick Johnson is out of the game. And Coach Miller going to have to get him back in, and he's at this table. Here he comes again off a little pin down.
This is the shot. He does not mind the contact on his way into a shot, but he missed out.
No, but Bruiser Flint does. He was screaming at the referee going down the floor.
Pass deflected away. It'll stay with Arizona as Johnson and Tarczewski come back into the game for the Wildcats. And Tavon Allen will check back in for the Dragons. FOUCH to sit. This is one of these, get him out of the game for a minute, but get him 5 minutes worth of rest like you were talking about in the first half of Massenet.
Yeah, and you have to do it because FOUCH on the offensive end is involved in sprinting, he's involved in screening, and then he comes off screens with cutting. A lot to ask for 40 minutes. This is where, Dan, Tarczewski has to go and demand the ball and demand his position against Ruffin and get his heels in the lane and put Ruffin in a bad spot with 3 fouls.
Said he sets the high screen.
Well, he's got to sit in there and demand the ball.
He's got it. Ruffin getting low, trying to use his lower half. Tarczewski with the jump hook and the foul.
All right, Tarczewski here demands his position. Here's what I mean by that. Watch, he demands right here. He's low, he's strong. Hey, Ruffin can't do anything about it. He catches it off the block, but look how low he gets here. Look how low, and then gathers. That is an excellent move, and that is excellent coaching, taking him out and explaining it to him, and excellent toughness by Tarczewski. Now I'd go to him again because Ruffin going out's the best post defender. Guys coming in, they're not nearly as physical as Ruffin.
Yeah, they're undersized with Ba and Williams in the front court right now. 3-point play to put the Wildcats back on top.
This is really dangerous for Bruiser Flint because the only two guys that can get a bucket are Massenet and Lee. That's it.
Allen the drive, wild shot, and the follow is good. This time. So midway through the second half, as Lee is helped off to the locker room, Drexel continuing to cling to the lead. They have lost it on a couple of occasions here in the second half, but have regained it and are up 3 with 10:10 to go. The winner to play the winner of our next semifinal between Alabama and Duke.
Well, it's got to go in. There you go.
Tarczewski's had a better second half, and he will add to his numbers here with another jump hook, another little turnaround.
The reason he made that, Dan, is he turned and he jump hooked towards the basket. In the first half, everything was away from the basket. That time, when you're on the right block, if you step your right foot and get in front of your left, your shoulders go to the rim, and that was terrific by Tarczewski.
9 of his 11 points here in the second half. 3 no good for Allen.
This is going to be a dunk here.
Johnson picks up the loose ball, and Arizona's back on top.
Dan, this has to be something for FOUCH. He has to, if he doesn't get it, he's got to exhaust every opportunity to get a shot up.
Here it comes. But he's got Johnson on.
Smart by Johnson. You see him just fake at the ball and stay with FOUCH.
FOUCH, quick 3. Gets it back. Foot on the line. Misses the toe. A follow for Mohamed Ba.
That was out of nowhere.
The first points of the night for any big guy, any front court player for Drexel. Tarczewski with nice patience inside. And did he get a technical for hanging on the rim?
Everything is low. Everything is strong with Tarczewski. What a difference. You see the shot missed and over the top of everybody. Now watch Tarczewski. Fakes, patient, goes and dunks it, and that is a technical. But in Tarczewski's, I don't defend the technical. That's technical. But you do, basketball, you do sometimes get excited. That's why Coach Miller's not going to be angry about it, because you want your big guy biting the rim. Like, you don't want your big guy soft. You want him biting the rim, and you know what? Cost you technical, cost you technical. Go bite it again.
And he's been much better, what you were talking about in the first half, as FOUCH misses them both. He came in 18 of 20 on the season and missed them both. Tarczewski's been much better at reestablishing in the post and demanding the ball here.
Yeah, as a big guy, you take your spot. Like, hey, I want it. You want to defend it. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. And you had tougher than you. You got a real problem. Tarczewski in the first half wasn't tough. Second half, really tough.
Goran Hantovic is back into the game, number 13 for Drexel, as Bruce Flint continues to improvise in the front court. Without a biff, out with a concussion. And Ruffin on the bench with 4 fouls. Tough one will go for FOUCH.
FOUCH gets in the lane. He's pretty good. I thought Nick Johnson played pretty good defense. I mean, he was right there. What Mark Jackson used to say, good defense, better offense.
Well, Gordon working hard for position inside now. Johnson splits the double team. Out of the lane, gave up 90 points to Vermont. They've given up 90 twice this year. You got to believe Alabama's going to try to dribble drive, get into the lane, draw help, dish it off, that kind of thing.
I think Duke just wants to outscore you. I think they've made basketball simple. If I outscore you by 1, and I play 10 guys and we all outscore our guy by 1, we win by 10. What's a big deal?
Didn't get the feeling after the Vermont game that Duke was looking at that as a victory, even though it was a victory. Great ball movement, and Tarczewski slams home the feed from Ashley.
Well, that's become America's play. Side ball screen, dive, reverse it to the top. Drexel couldn't get beat on a lot of things, but they shouldn't get beat on that.
Arizona back on top. 7 minutes to go here in the Garden. Allen, nice little fake. The drive, no. Loose ball rebound to McConnell.
Well, Allen anticipated somebody there. If he'd have sat down like Tarczewski's been doing, taking an extra dribble, he'd have got a bucket.
Nice look. Wide open 3 for Johnson. Got it. What a feed from T.J. McConnell. And Bruiser Flint needs a timeout.
Being a Pittsburgh guy, Pennsylvania guy, his dad a great coach, John Miller at Black Hawk High School. He knew McConnell. You can see what valuable guy he is.
FOUCH again. McConnell getting in there with the big guys for the rebound. Ashley this time to the left shoulder, and that's going to be a tie-up, and the possession arrow will give it to Duquesne when we come back. Give it to...
Have a report on the actual diagnosis before the end of this game, but he is done for the night with 6 points.
All right, Andy, thank you. So Lee is injured. Kasembe Abiff, a starter, didn't play at all tonight because of a concussion. Darte Ruffin's had a lot of foul trouble. He's back in the game just now with 4. Williams finds a little space. and makes it a 2-point game.
Well, Williams just stuck his nose because nobody put a body on it. You know, one thing that you watch college basketball this year, rarely do you see a guy help on defense and then go put a body on his man. The help was there, the body wasn't.
And an over and back. It was off the foot of McConnell. It was funny, in the first half, Drexel was dominating, and then you looked up at the scoreboard and you said, boy, Arizona's not that far out. And then here in the second half, it's felt like it's all Arizona, and you look at the scoreboard, it's a 2-point game.
I just looked up there, and I said the same thing in my... Dan, here's a problem for you. You're starting to think like me, and you do not want to do that. Me thinking like you is a good thing. You thinking like me, horrible.
Will this fade after, you know, since you're only here for one, or is this reversible? Or?
No, you bet it's over. Same action. They run Fouch out, and he tries to drive the middle if you can.
Massenet. And the long rebound down to Hollis Jefferson. And a lot of the long-range or tough shots for Drexel that were falling early have not fallen since.
Yeah, next possession, Massenet should drive that, because if he can get in the lane, that means that he's going to have a good shot. It means he beat his defender. If the help comes, it's coming from Fouch, and Fouch is going to be wide open.
Gordon. Johnson for three.
Shot.
And a good job blocking out there by Rodney Williams to hold off the bigger Tarczewski. Here's Massenet driving, out of control. And might have gotten away with the one, missed the shot. McConnell, look ahead, Johnson. And great body control by Nick Johnson for the finish of the foul.
That was a great play by Johnson finishing, but a better play by McConnell throwing it up. You know, earlier when Arizona was up 5, Johnson did this same exact thing. He was calling for it, and McConnell wanted to slow it down. That's why I say a good play by McConnell. You know, 5-point lead wasn't anything. He got back to 2, and Arizona wants to push, and Johnson's dying to run, and you can see he's a good finisher.
4th foul on Rodney Williams. Johnson, a guy that Sean Miller says it's kind of like the way basketball always used to be. You get better year by year, you stick around, you develop, and Johnson, who's always kind of had stardom written all over him, but it's taken a couple of years to really come out, but he's now a star.
He is a star, and he's a star on both ends. And I would venture a guess there's no way he thought he would play defense this way as a freshman. Because he is guarding, he has made it very tough for Fouch. This is what I'm talking about, the drive.
Step back jumper won't go for Tavon Allen. Here comes Arizona up by 5.
Yeah, that's a bad shot. He almost had the help coming from Fouch. Fine. It didn't come. Set it back up and get a better look.
To shoot, under 4 to play. Gordon tries to shovel it inside. Hollis Jefferson puts it up wildly. Ashley can't finish. And Drexel comes out with the ball. Boy, a couple of missed opportunities there for the Wildcats.
Gordon played that like he was in high school. You know, he got the ball, didn't have enough respect. The next thing you know, Fouch just rips it out of his hands. Had to, or else Gordon was going to, dunk all of us. But that's going to loom large here in the last 3 minutes. Williams just got his first bucket, but his value has been defending the rim and internal toughness. I guess interior toughness. His internal toughness was pretty good today, too.
So Williams done for the night. Ruffin playing with 4. Pantovic back into the game for the Dragons, and Gordon makes 2 big free throws.
Well, if you're Drexel, it's pretty simple. Fouch and Massenet have to be the scorers.
They've combined for 35 of their 47.
Comes Massenet on the baseline.
Massenet scoops it up, no good. Rebound down to the Wildcats. Good decision by McConnell.
Yeah, really good. And a good decision by Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson wanted to go. and saw he didn't have anything, so he backed out, not even tempting McConnell.
Bounce pass into Ashley, blocked from behind. Hantovic, I think, got a piece of it. It will stay with Arizona with 12 on the shot clock.
Now, earlier I talked about a best jump. Ashley has made his worst jump. A bad jump is when you fall forward. A good jump is when you jump straight up, and too much falling for Ashley.
And that's going to be on Gordon, I believe. Nowhere near foul trouble for Arizona. That's just their third foul here in the second half.
Everybody complaining about the new rules, which aren't new, by the way. They're just calling fouls. Well-coached teams aren't being affected by it a whole lot. I mean, game here, game there, but teams that keep their hands off, move their feet, like right there, that's offensive.
Yeah, Allen got away with an offensive foul. Got that off arm up into the grill of the Arizona defender. Fouch, the floater. Got it. Wave it off. Offensive foul.
There's a lot to like about this Arizona team. How about Aaron Gordon? Just giving it up for the team, understanding help side defense. And that started today in their shoot-around. I'm telling you, I've never seen a freshman more in tune, more intelligent, working harder at communicating with his teammates more than this kid.
And they're going to count the basket. They're saying the ball left the hands of Fouch before the contact.
I personally love that call. I do. I just think you get rid of it, then you run into him. I love it. This has been a well-officiated game, don't you think?
Ryan O'Connell, Bo Borowski, Roger Ayers working the game. Two more big free throws for Gordon. He's made 4 in a row down the stretch. Allen.
Smart as well. Jabari Parker has always impressed me from being a freshman in high school until now at just how smart of a basketball player he is.
Under 2 minutes to play, Arizona with the ball in the lead. In a game in which it looked like they might get blown out early, down 19 midway through the first half.
He's got to come into the middle of the floor.
Under 10 to shoot. Johnson, nice swing, wide open McConnell. What a great possession for Arizona.
It's a well-coached team. Late in the game, they go to a little weave action. And the reason he got that shot, after a trap, everybody left McConnell.
Allen rattles home a long 2. And now Fouch fouls Johnson. And it's bonus situation for Arizona.
This is, McConnell knocks it in, and that, he probably should. I mean, he's a fourth-year college kid, sitting out a year, 2 years at Drexel. He's wide open.
40% three-point shooter in his 2 years at Duquesne. He's known as more of a distributor. Doesn't take a ton of shots, but he is a good shooter.
It's really fun. Try this, Nick. I know you hurt your foot playing basketball, and I play on Wednesdays barely. But when I hit a three, like McConnell, you give 3 goggles, it's really fun. At 51 years old, giving 3 goggles is a blast, I'm telling you.
I never hit a 3.
Talked about it, Arizona State against Creighton. You want to watch 2 good teams with a pro at point guard and a pro for Creighton at the wing. Just great games.
Into the final minute here at the Garden. Fouch is fouled. Got to give him credit. He has not backed down an inch at any point in this game. However many minutes he's played, probably 35, 36. They've been hard minutes here tonight.
Yeah, because they have not, to this point, 39 minutes of the game, they have not thrown the ball on the block yet. And FOUCH has had to screen, cut, bring the ball up, play defense, drive into these bigs, and he's done it not necessarily with a smile, but he's done it as business as usual.
If you're a big for Drexel, you got to go to the glass to get yours.
Or improve your post moves.
A perimeter-dominated team, and we have seen why with the ability these guys have. 6-point game as Kennedy checks back in. The loser of this game will play the loser of the Alabama-Duke game, 3:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. In the third-place game, the winner of this one will play the winner of that game in the championship game. Nearly a steal, but Kennedy rolled out of bounds before he could give up the ball.
Well, this was a bad play by Nick Johnson. He kind of threw it across his body right here. You see him throw it across his... Never throw the ball across your body in a trap. Pass fake high and throw it low, or pass fake low and throw it high, but never, ever across your body.
Gordon out for Arizona. We got more perimeter guys, Johnson, McConnell, and York. 3 ball handlers in there. And Johnson will shoot 2. Double bonus for Arizona. Arizona, respectable 75% from the line as a team tonight, 18 for 24. Johnson is 7 for 8.
He's played a great game. In fact, his defense turned the game around. There was a lot of problems for Arizona guarding both Massanet and certainly FOUCH, and he got into FOUCH, changed the game.
You watch Johnson play, you look up at the end of the night, and every column's got some numbers in it. Is it 19 points right now, 5 rebounds, 4 assists?
You know what else he did? I thought he was really good at echoing what Sean Miller wanted today in the walkthrough to make sure everybody was on point. And he's carried that over to the game. After the first free throw, he was directing traffic. And, you know, things like that, they're just immeasurable. So you might as well get the bucket and then go 3 guys.
Three-point play. Still 5 down, 33 seconds to go. Good trap, and Johnson will use a timeout. Well, a good test for Arizona, which comes in.
Could get some good news from Kazembe Abiff, who did not pass the concussion tests prior to tonight. There's always a chance he could by Friday's game at 3:30.
And again, most of the work that Lee was getting appeared to be in the knee area when he was down on the court. He put no weight on that right leg when he was helped off. McConnell at the line for 2 for Arizona.
PJ McConnell on the line, 3-2.
Seven seconds, make or miss. You don't need a 3. I mean, go to the rim. It's amazing how if you just continue to score, and I know that sounds silly, but get a point, 2. It's amazing how all you're playing for right now, if you're Drexel, is a chance, a shot to tie it at the end, and you don't need a crazy 3.
The reverse is good for Allen. It's a 4-point game, and Bruiser Flynn will use his last timeout.
But I think you got to foul immediately here if you don't get a steal.
York's going to inbound it for Arizona. Sean Miller going with the 3 guards again. And then Ashley and Tarczewski up front. They're having trouble getting it in.
You got to foul him. You got to foul him immediately.
And Ashley got rid of it before they did foul him, so maybe 2 more seconds came off the clock, and York will shoot them instead of Ashley. Bob picks up the foul, his third.
Yeah, Bruiser Flint wanted the foul on Ashley, but it's one thing for the coach to want it, but players got to make sure the ref sees it and calls it.
York at the line, his first attempts of the night. Now 9 of 12 on the season. Pantovic back in for Kennedy, and FOUCH back in for Bob.
This is where it always gets a little bit sexy for Drexel. Now you've got to look for a three. You run whatever your best set is, pin down, 14 seconds. I think FOUCH or Allen here looking for a three.
Massenet fouled by Ashley. That is the 6th team foul on Arizona, so still no free throws. Not often you see a team play 20 minutes of basketball and not commit 7 fouls.
It's rare you see a team play 5 minutes of basketball. Well-coached team, Arizona. Didn't play well tonight. Couldn't shoot it in much, but well-coached.
FOUCH banks it home. Still a 2-possession game, only 5 seconds remaining. And a clock issue. Clock started running before the ball was in, so they've got to reset it to 5.0. Officials don't miss much. They were all over that.
These guys are good. Bo Borowski is a really good official. I call him 99.9% because basically 99.9% of the time goes right.